Welcome back to our channel, soap fans. Today is a truly beautiful day to dive into the scandalous, twist-filled world of Fairmont Crest. Grab your favorite beverage and settle in, because we have a mountain of shocking spoilers to unpack for the week of July 6th to July 10th. Let's get right into the drama. The aftermath of the devastating Fairmont Crest tornado and the harrowing liver transplant surgery is still sending massive shockwaves through our favorite families. Let us start with the incredibly tense and awkward dynamic between Catherine "Cat" Richardson and Tomas Navarro. According to the spoilers for Monday, July 6th, Cat and Tomas are absolutely stunned by each other's beauty. On the surface, this sounds like a romantic fairy tale, but if we look at the recent history, it is anything but simple. Remember, Tomas just dropped to one knee in the middle of the Dupree mansion and publicly proposed to Cat right after she survived a life-threatening surgical complication. Cat looked completely horrified and ambushed by the public pressure. So this makes me wonder, did she reject him? The spoilers for Wednesday, July 8 reveal that Cat's impulsive shopping severely annoys Tomas. My theory is that Cat is using retail therapy as a manic coping mechanism to deal with the suffocating pressure of Tomas's expectations. She gave a piece of her liver to Eva, she almost died, and now she is being forced into a lifelong commitment before they have even moved in together. Her impulsive shopping is a massive red flag that she is spiraling out of control, and Tomas is too oblivious to realize that his grand romantic gestures are actually pushing her away. Speaking of Eva Thomas, she is also navigating a very complicated emotional landscape. On Monday, Eva receives a deeply touching gift from her mother, Leslie Thomas. We all know Leslie has a horrific track record of being a manipulative, selfish mother, but the sheer terror of almost losing Eva to internal bleeding seems to have genuinely shifted something inside her. However, I have to question how long Leslie's maternal warmth will actually last. But that is not all for Eva. On Tuesday, July 7, Eva and her boyfriend Isaiah Hawthorne receive an unexpected visitor. Who on earth could this be? Could it be someone connected to the plasma ring investigation, or perhaps a figure from Eva's biological father's past coming out of the woodwork? Whatever this visit entails, it clearly rattles Eva, because by Friday, July 10, Eva sits down to renegotiate terms with Isaiah. Renegotiate terms? That sounds incredibly clinical for a romantic relationship. My theory is that Eva, drowning in survivor's guilt over Cat's sacrifice and overwhelmed by the recent chaos, is setting strict boundaries with Isaiah. She might feel unworthy of his love or fear that their relationship is moving too fast amidst all this trauma. Now, let us pivot to the absolute darkest and most sinister storyline currently playing out: the Joey Armstrong, Vanessa McBride, and Deanna McBride triangle of manipulation. Joey is a master manipulator, and we know he recently ordered his henchman, Randy Parker, to target and potentially seduce Deanna to keep her on the job and under his control. On Monday, the spoilers reveal that Randy is feeling incredibly uneasy about his latest assignment. I actually love that Randy has a shred of a conscience left, even if he is a criminal. He knows that manipulating Vanessa's daughter is crossing a sick, twisted line. Meanwhile, Joey is worried by some news he receives from Vanessa. What did Vanessa find out? Did she catch Randy and Deanna together? Or did she discover something about Joey's sister Heather being the elusive impaler? Whatever Vanessa tells him, it triggers a massive reaction. On Tuesday, Joey informs Vanessa about a sudden change in their business arrangement. My theory is that Joey is cutting Vanessa loose to protect his own empire. He knows the police, specifically Jacob Hawthorne, are closing in on the casino and the plasma ring. By changing the arrangement, Joey is likely throwing Vanessa to the wolves or stripping her of her power so she cannot testify against him. But here's the most explosive part of this storyline. On Tuesday, Deanna reunites with an old friend. Could this old friend actually be her father, Doug McBride? We saw Doug appear to Deanna recently, and it was left ambiguous whether he was a ghost, a hallucination, or actually alive. I strongly speculate that Doug faked his death to escape Joey's wrath, and now he is back to dismantle Joey's criminal syndicate from the inside out. If Doug is alive, Joey is in for the fight of his life. Over at the hospital, my heart is absolutely breaking for the Dupree family. On Tuesday, July 7th, Danny, Nicole, and Vernon are anxiously waiting for the results of Anita Dupree's lumpectomy surgery. Wait a minute. I am so confused and terrified. Dr. Bauer just delivered the joyous news that Anita's scans were completely clear and she was cancer-free. Why is she suddenly undergoing a lumpectomy? Did they find a localized mass at the very last second? The emotional whiplash this family is enduring is horrific. Vernon has been her rock, and Nicole and Danny have barely recovered from the tornado and Kat's surgical crisis. I am praying that this lumpectomy is merely a preventative measure and not a sign that Anita's breast cancer has returned with a vengeance. Adding to the family drama, on Thursday, July 9, Anita and Vernon learned some important life news from one of their grandchildren. With so many grandchildren in crisis, this could be anything. Is it Kat announcing that she officially broke off her engagement to Tomas? Is it Chelsea making a massive career move? Or, tragically, is it Naomi Hawthorne finally coming clean about her devastating medical secret? This brings us to the most heartbreaking betrayal currently unfolding in Fairmont Crest. For months, Naomi Hawthorne has been lying to her husband, Jacob, and her entire family, claiming she tested negative for the BRCA gene when she actually tested positive. On Wednesday, Jacob and Naomi finally make up for lost time, likely sharing a deeply intimate and romantic moment. But the happiness is incredibly short-lived. On Thursday, Naomi's confession completely stuns Danny and Jacob. She finally drops the bomb about her BRCA positive status. I am genuinely terrified for Jacob's mental health at this point. Jacob is already suffering from severe PTSD and survivor's guilt because his best friend, Derek Baldwin, took a bullet for him during the plasma ring warehouse sting. Jacob has been spiraling, going rogue, clashing with his father Elon, and obsessively hunting the impaler. He has been drowning in darkness, and Naomi was his only anchor. To find out that his wife has been lying to him for months about a life-threatening genetic mutation, this might completely break him. My theory is that Jacob will feel so utterly betrayed that he will leave Naomi and dive even deeper into his dangerous, undercover thug persona. He might go on a suicidal vigilante mission to take down Joey and Heather, feeling like he has absolutely nothing left to lose. Meanwhile, the hospital politics are getting incredibly vicious. Dr. Monica McCormick, the new chief of staff who replaced the corrupt doctor, Leah Whitmore, is cleaning house. She recently shocked Leslie Thomas by abruptly terminating the hospital's agreement with Leslie's free clinic. On Wednesday, July 8, Leslie and Monica have a massive, fiery clash. Leslie's entire philanthropic redemption arc was tied to that free clinic. She funded it to buy her way into high society and prove she wasn't just a villain. Now that Monica has ripped that away, the old, ruthless, vindictive Leslie is going to return with a vengeance. But Leslie is not fighting this battle alone. In a shocking twist, on Friday, July 10, Leslie and Darlene Hawthorne reach a new understanding. This is the alliance we absolutely didn't know we needed. These two fierce mothers have clashed bitterly in the past, especially at the police station and over Eva's relationship with Isaiah. But now, they are finding common ground. Darlene has always been skeptical of the wealthy elites and the hospital establishment. I theorize that Leslie and Darlene are going to team up to completely destroy Dr. Monica McCormick and the Garland Memorial Hospital Board. With Leslie's money and cunning and Darlene's community influence, they could be an unstoppable, lethal duo. Speaking of legal and professional destruction, we have to talk about the Mike Davis versus Bill Hamilton lawsuit. Mike is arrogantly suing his former boss, and the legal battle is getting incredibly ugly. On Friday, July 10, Dr. Madison Montgomery is called to give testimony, and the spoilers say her testimony worsens the situation for everyone involved. Why would a doctor's testimony make a legal dispute worse? My massive theory is that Madison, being a highly trained medical professional, notices Bill Hamilton's severe physical and cognitive decline while he is in the room. We know that Bill's wife, Haley Hamilton, has been secretly poisoning him with a toxic serum to collect his $10 million life insurance policy. Bill has been suffering from severe hand tremors and mental fog. I speculate that Madison accidentally exposes on the record that Bill is medically unfit to practice law, which gives Mike Davis the ultimate ammunition to win the lawsuit. Little does Madison know, she is actually witnessing a slow-motion murder orchestrated by Haley. This ties perfectly into Danny Dupree's storyline. On Friday, Danny discusses a very sensitive matter with nurse Ashley Morgan. Why is Danny talking to Ashley? Ashley is a medical professional. I strongly believe that Danny, who recently had a secret, guilt-ridden elevator hookup with Bill, noticed his tremors and strange behavior. She might be consulting Ashley off the record to figure out what is wrong with her ex-husband. If Danny and Ashley start connecting the dots, they might be the ones to finally expose Haley's psychotic poisoning plot before Bill ends up dead. Let us not forget about Grayson Perez. On Wednesday, July 8, Grayson receives an unexpected offer. Grayson has been struggling with massive debt and lost his lab job due to the police investigation into the plasma ring. He was blackmailed by Dr. Leah Whitmore into being a courier to pay for his mother's nursing home. So, who is making him an offer? It could be Leslie, who previously overheard his financial struggles and offered him a job at her clinic. But since the clinic is shut down, my darker theory is that Heather Armstrong, the impaler, is offering him a highly lucrative, dangerous role in her reorganized international crime syndicate. Will Grayson risk losing Ashley's forgiveness to save his mother? Speaking of Ashley, she is still deeply grieving the heroic death of Derek Baldwin. On Friday, a character named June is brought to tears by a touching gift. We know June was helped by Ashley during the tornado. My theory is that Ashley gifts June something incredibly meaningful that belonged to Derek, perhaps his cat rescue badge or a piece of his firefighting gear, to honor his legacy of saving lives. It is a beautiful, emotional moment amidst all the chaos. Finally, let us look at the Richardson-Smith teenagers. On Thursday, July 9, Samantha Richardson delivers some news that makes Smitty and Martin incredibly worried about Tyrell. We know Tyrell was recently dumped by Jessica Harris, who decided to explore her options at UCLA in California. Tyrell was completely heartbroken and delusional, thinking he could convince her to stay. My theory is that Samantha discovers Tyrell has packed his bags, stolen some money, and is planning to run away to California to chase after Jessica, completely abandoning his family and his future. Smitty and Martin are going to have to race against time to stop him before he makes the biggest mistake of his young life. This week is going to be an absolute roller coaster of emotions, betrayals, and shocking alliances. I cannot wait to see how Jacob handles Naomi's lie, if Doug McBride is truly back to destroy Joey, and if Haley's poison plot is finally exposed. Let me know all of your wild theories in the comments below, and stay tuned for more explosive updates from Fairmont Crest.